with. It's good to have you with us. And it's my understanding, and I don't know where you're going with this, but I trust you completely, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. But I understand that there is some amazing 100th anniversary that we're right on the eve of that you're assuring me is going to blow people's minds. So let me hush now that I've introduced you, and I'm going to let you go.
Well, the city of Boston will soon take delivery of a 50-foot giant Christmas tree, Carl. And the story behind this Christmas tree is absolutely mind-blowing. They get this Christmas tree every year from the city of Halifax, Nova Scotia. And this is Halifax's way every year of thanking the city of Boston for an event that happened almost 100 years ago on December 6th, 1917, the Halifax explosion. The numbers here, Carl, are staggering, mind-blowing. The Halifax explosion was a maritime disaster in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, on the morning of December 6, 1917. So World War I is still raging out there with a year left, right?
Yeah.
The SS Mont Blanc, which is French for White Mountain, a French cargo ship laden with high explosives, collided with the Norwegian vessel SS Imo in the Narrows, which is a strait connecting the upper Halifax harbor to the Bedford Basin. A fire on board the French ship ignited her cargo, causing a large explosion that... The words large explosion there could hardly describe what happened here, Carl. This is absolutely shocking. This quote-unquote large explosion that devastated the Richmond district of Halifax.
Wow.
About 2,000 people were killed by the blast, debris, fires, and collapsed buildings, and 9,000 others were injured. The blast, Carl, was the largest man-made explosion ever prior to the development of nuclear weapons. Think about that. In the little harbor of Halifax, I've been to that little harbor, man. There's not much room there for the largest man-made explosion ever prior to the nuclear weapon, releasing the equivalent energy of roughly 2.9 kilotons of TNT.
Good gosh.
The Mont Blanc was under orders from the French government to carry her cargo of high explosives from New York via Halifax to Bordeaux, France. At roughly 8:45 a.m., she collided at low speed of approximately 1 knot with the unladen IMO, chartered by the Commission for Relief in Belgium to pick up a cargo of relief supplies in New York. The resulting fire on board the French ship quickly grew out of control, and about 20 minutes later, the Mont Blanc exploded. Okay, now here are some more shocking numbers. Nearly all of the structures within a half-mile radius, including the entire community of Richmond, were obliterated. Listen to this. A pressure wave snapped trees, bent iron rails, demolished buildings, grounded vessels, and scattered fragments of Mont Blanc for miles. Hardly a window in the city survived the blast. There was widespread damage. Listen to this. A tsunami created by the blast wiped out the entire community of Mi'kmaq First Nations people who lived in the Tufts Cove since the 1700s. That entire community gone. But here's where the Christmas tree comes in. Relief efforts began almost immediately, and hospitals became quickly full. Rescue trains began arriving from across eastern Canada and the northeastern United States, but were impeded by a giant blizzard. This is literally hell on earth going on in Halifax in one day, right? Blizzards, tsunamis, a giant blast that wipes out entire communities. I mean, this is just amazing stuff, right? Have you ever heard of this? I just learned about this the other day.
I've never heard of it, Mike. I'm sitting here listening to this thinking, why have I never heard of this? Now, I'm sure that in our great audience, there are people that have, but I bet a lot of people are like you and me. I had never heard of this.
And this is actually a really good case study in fake news, okay? This is actually quite amazing how they reported on this thing. Mm-hmm. Many people in Halifax at first believed the explosion to be the result of a German attack. Why? Because the Halifax Herald, their version of the New York Slimes, continued to propagate the belief for some time. For example, they reported that Germans had mocked victims of the explosions. The Halifax Herald they reported that this was the result of a German attack. Now, here's this guy, this John Johansson, the Norwegian helmsman of the IMO.
Mm-hmm.
He was being treated for serious injuries sustained during the explosion.
Mm-hmm.
It was reported to the military police that he had been behaving suspiciously, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Johansson was arrested on suspicions of being a German spy when they searched the cabin of the IMO, and they turned up a letter supposedly written in German. But, this is all the Halifax Herald reporting all this fake news, right? It later turned out that the letter was actually written in Norwegian. Now, if I had been there, Carl, I could have interpreted that letter because I speak fluent Norwegian.
Yeah.
The whole thing, if you guys have some time on your hands and you want to do some interesting reading, the 100th anniversary of this event is coming up on December 6th. Why does Boston get a 50-foot Christmas tree every year?
Yeah.
It's because of this event that happened in Halifax Harbor, the largest man-made explosion ever recorded prior to the first test of nuclear weapons. It really is amazing, right?